quick video for a coach in Ohio that we did a summer camp with. One of my team members was at this camp, so I haven't seen this team personally myself yet. So I'm excited to watch some video and see how this looks. Okay, hey Maggie, how you doing? Maggie is the coach. Oh, nice jump float serve to start, serving from the angle. I like it. For you coaches out there that don't know, one of the things that we always try and do, especially on the very first serve of the game, is try and have our players get a little bit of rhythm on their serve and get some consistency by trying to serve from firstly the corner, trying to serve in this area here versus the middle, and then serving into the angles. So that's a longer distance. If you serve from this line here to that corner there, from this corner to this corner, you have an extra 8 feet of court. So on our first serve, we always want to try and encourage the kids to serve cross court, and that way they can get some rhythm and they start to feel a little bit more comfortable and get over the nervous jitters. So yeah, if you coaches are looking for a way to get a little bit more of a consistent serve, or at least get it in, I think it's a great strategy to start off for players. Nice jump float serve. It's part of our culture. We teach all our players to jump float serve. I highly encourage all you coaches out there to be teaching that too. So great job, mate. Nice to see. Nice first serve. Now, Maggie, one thing you and I have not chatted about is your position here on the court. Coaches, for me, this is a big thing that I see a lot, is the coaches are standing and walking up and down the sideline here. And I think it's a really, really bad thing. And the reason is, what starts to happen is the players, as they get nervous, they start looking at you. And they start to become distracted. So I encourage all our coaches to sit down. If you look at the great coaches like John Wood and Phil Jackson, they're always sitting down on the sideline. I don't know where this whole habit of standing on the sideline and walking the sideline came from. I think it's really bad. If you are going to stand, and you have to stand, I encourage you to stand more like here in the back of the court. And the reason is that way the players can't necessarily see you before the play is going on. So Maggie, that's something I think I would suggest you consider. We'll see if it plays out. Let's see if anything happens. Another great jump float serve, very nice. Great dig, very, very nice. One thing I'm seeing here is, let's go back to that a little bit. It's a high 2 ball. Yeah, it's a very high 2 ball, okay. Now, on a high 2, yeah, a high 2 in the middle, look at that set. This blocker has to come in and help support. So we need a 2-man block up on that every single time. I also want, notice our wing up defenders in area 1 and 5 are playing as if we're running a 1, as if they're running a 1. So if you're looking at somebody running a high ball from the middle like a 2, most of their hits are going to be towards the deep corners. So what I would suggest is the fact that we don't really have a 1, I don't know if the set is dumped yet. Maybe they have, maybe, it's early in the game. But I would suggest we actually start our, have a 2-man block, and then have these 2 players in area 1 and 5 start just a little bit further back. That way they can defend this area where the more prominent hit is. Also, I want this off blocker here in area 2 to come around and help. Maybe they take all the tips per se. You can notice they're standing on the net and doing nothing. So let's make some adjustments there on that defensive scheme, especially on a high 2. Look, so as the hit comes, there's 1 blocker up. It's a nice dig. This person in area 2 is not in position when you have 1 blocker, and these 2 can get further back. Nice dig. Okay, hit the net. It is what it is. That's fine. I still like that. I thought that was a good play. That was a good earn point by them, so that's not a big deal. Nice shot. Good play. Nice hittable ball by the setter. One thing I want us to remember, though, which I'm not necessarily saying, I don't know if it's part of the, but one of the things we try and teach is on passing, if it's a tough serve, just pass the ball high and in the middle. So a 2-point pass, basically. If you look at the studies on women's volleyball, there was a study by Dr. Gil Fillingham, and basically the fourth best thing you can do in women's volleyball is a 2-point pass, which is not a very good pass and something that I think most of our players can do. I think in that last play, I think your libero could have at least tried to pass it high, even if it's off the net and not a great pass. Nice jump float serve. Very, very good. Nice shot. Very, very good shot. You can't stop that. If they do that, great, give it to them. Nice block, nice D, much better. Still think area 1 defense could start a little bit further back. And then bring up your wing from area 4 to cover the tips. I like that a lot, actually. So what I liked about that was, even though it wasn't a great pass, we got a nice hittable ball on that. I would like that player to take a swing or try and do something with that. So I think it's a great set by you guys. That's a good hittable ball. Look at that coming in there. And then where is she going to go with it? Just try to go area 1. Not bad, going for the corners. I think the better option would be to try to take out the center. So again, go back to our sequence for hitting. We got our sequence, so that's a decent hit. Try and get a hit on that. And then number 1, know the defense. Number 2, hit it off the block and play it on our side. Number 3, hit the corners. Number 4, take out the setter. Number 5, take out the middle. Number 6, take out the outside. Number 7, set up our defense. So try to hit the corner, and that's not bad. We kind of set up our defense. My only problem with this is, again, let's look at our area 1 defender is too shallow. I think she's a little too shallow, and I want her off more area 4, covering a little bit more tips either here or over there. So let's see. Okay, second hit deep, so you took it pretty high, setter or area 1 defender. So I think if you're a little bit further back, this ball is falling in your sweet spot and we'll get a little bit better dig, but it's still a pretty good dig. Okay, that's not good. That's not good. I think that's a great set by the libero. Let's see where that ball lands. It's a little off the net, but it's still hittable. It's basically on the 10-foot line. So that's a bad play by the outside hitter. That outside hitter needs to pull off and transition. So, number 12, your only job in this position, time and situation is basically to become a hitter. You're not playing defense, but you're sitting here watching the play. You see that, number 12? So I would really focus on maybe doing bounce balls in practice, coach, and then really focus on number 12's only responsibility is hitting. If you look at the 5 out of the 6 players on the court, they're really the only hitter that's available in this situation. So make yourself available and go hit. Okay, good. Way to transition out of there. I like your serving. Your serving's pretty good. Okay, that's another great example. Watch that high 2 coming in through the middle. And we are completely out of position, in my opinion, on defense. So look, they're running a high set in the middle. Number 12, you have to come in and at least get in the way. You got lots of time, so there's no reason not to block. Okay, number person in area 2. Let's change the color for you guys. Person in area 2 in the blue circle. Why don't you take tips? So maybe you move in here into a little bit more of the meat of the court and you cover tips. I basically want our Area 1 and area, looks like area 5 is starting further back. That's great, actually. But I want our area 1. Look, her main shot right now, if you look at where she's going, is into this meet, but you're standing too shallow. So I would have you just a little bit further back, maybe 2-3 feet. You also have a lot of time, so you could move into it. So I'd make those adjustments on defense, coach. And boom, if you had been just a little bit further back, you could have maybe got that with your hands. It's not a hard hit. For you coaches out there, I think it's also a great opportunity to see how effective a high two ball can be, especially in teams that only put up a one-man block in the middle. It's amazing for me. It's like all these coaches are complaining, oh, I need to run a faster middle, I need to run a fast middle at high school. And the reality is a good two-set high ball in the middle is extremely effective. So if you see them right now, they're hitting 1,000 on this, which is incredible for high school, and they made no mistakes. So I encourage all coaches to actually have that as part of their arsenal, is a high two-ball set and a high two-ball back set. So you can run it also on transition, even on a bad pass. Okay, we're at 11 and a half minutes. I'm going to put a pause in this and go from there. To see more videos, go to volleyball1on1.com. Also, this is part of our Volleyball one-on-one camp service, where we help our coaches review their matches. We also help them design practices after the matches to meet some of the needs that come up during the matches.